the cultural background of Luis and his family? How is the neighborhood of Southgate described? Why did the teenagers choose to bully Luis and his brother?
All right, so I would like you to discuss within your groups about your opinions, your thoughts, your perspectives. Don't worry about if it's not the right answer, but I do want you to stay on topic. So what's the cultural background of Luis and his family? How is the neighborhood described? And how or why do the teenagers choose to bully Luis and his brother? So go ahead and discuss for a couple minutes and we'll come together.
Can you just say what even if you're not
What are your thoughts here? On the cultural background or why they bullied them or what?
Oh, probably a racist thing.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Or just because they're...
Did they do anything to them to make them bully them? Not really.
Probably just because they're just bullies.
Do you know what the word Anglo means? Anglo? Anglo means like a white person.
Oh.
I think it's in the first part of this. I'm not sure where exactly, but I saw it somewhere. So that might tell you a little bit about the neighborhood. All right, let's come together in 3, 2, and 1. So I heard some good interpretations, and thank you for staying on task. So after each question, I'm going to select a group and just one person talk about what you discussed. It doesn't have to hit all of the questions, it's just what your group discussed. So Chris, can you talk a little bit about what you talked about in your group? You research which word?
Spick.
Spick? What did you find out about that word?
I just read a sentence that it said.
Uh-huh.
It's like a ritual they do.
A ritual. Interesting. I'm not aware of that ritual. Okay. So maybe we can look into that later. So I heard some good conversation over here. Isabella, can you share what you guys discussed?
We discussed that because they were in an Anglo, like a white neighborhood, and they were Mexicans, they could have gotten beaten up because of their race.
Of their race. Yeah. So did anybody else talk about the issue of race or racism? Yeah? So Anglo is a term for someone who is white. So that might lead into really well this next question on number 3. So Ezekiel, would you please read number 3?
Key ideas and details. How does the description in paragraph 4 through 7 of the bullies, their words and their actions shape your perception of them, of Rano? Read paragraph 3. What do Luis and his brother do to provoke the bullies? Why do you think the bullies focus their beating on Rano? And what description of the bullies in paragraph 6 is particularly disturbing?
Thank you. So what do Luis and his brother do to provoke the bullies? So why do you think the bullies focus their beating on Rano and not Luis? What description of the bullies in paragraph 6 is particularly disturbing? So I'll give you a couple minutes to discuss. What are your thoughts here on what are your thoughts, sorry to interrupt, what are your thoughts here are on if they provoked the bullies? Do you think that they did or not?
Kinda. Well, I mean,
Kinda?
it was the police officers, right?
Yeah.
Because if you see it in their point of view, because they just walked by them, right? Instead of ignoring them.
Right. Oh, I see what you're saying. So because they ignored them, you think that that was kind of like a sign of disrespect, maybe, or?
Yeah, I feel like also because they try to go inside like Southgate and like they think like, oh yeah, like they run that place, so I think that's like disrespect too.
And why do you think it matters about somebody going to a different territory? What do you think is happening to that whole neighborhood? Or what do you think is present there? Sorry, I know it's kind of a...
Sad, non-American people.
Probably
True.
segregation.
Yeah, there's probably certain parts of the neighborhood that people don't accept the other kind of race, and vice versa, you know? Which is sad, right? So that you can't go to a specific corner without getting beaten up. All right, let's go ahead and come together in 3, 2, and 1. So let's start off with any volunteers. I don't know if anyone wants to share what your group discussed before I pick on people, but I heard a lot of great discussion, so be confident in what you have to offer. Anybody? Marisela?
So my group and I discussed that Luis and his brother provoked the bullies by just like ignoring them, like just trying to prevent a problem. So the bullies might have found that offensive.
Okay, so they might have provoked them by simply ignoring them. Interesting perspective. Does anyone think that they didn't do anything to provoke them? Yeah, can you explain what your thoughts are?
Because they were just like, they were ignoring them and didn't want to start a problem with them.
So that their ignoring could have been that they were trying not to provoke them, right? Joanna?
Maybe the fact that they fed food.
Maybe the fact they had food?
Yeah.
And what are your thoughts on that?
I think.
Like that they wanted their food?
Yeah.
Okay, maybe, possibly. So let's go ahead and move along. I want to make sure that we get to the second piece of writing, so that way you can compare. So the poem is called, or actually, let's see, yeah. So let's turn to Race Politics. It's on page 37. Does everybody have that? Okay. So this Race Politics was a poem that was written by Luis Rodriguez, same author, but it's also talking about the same incident, but in a different style, in a way of poetry. So I'd like you to follow along and also highlight, just like we did with Always Running. I'd like you to highlight text, words, phrases, or sentences that create or convey the narrator's voice. Is everyone ready with their highlighters? All right.
We dared each other, and I thought about it. Said, what's the big deal? Thought about that. Decided we were men, not boys. Decided we should go wherever we damn wanted to. Oh, my brother. Now, he was bad. Tough dude, afraid of nothing. I was afraid of him. So there we go, climbing over